All right, and we are live.
All eyes on me, drinks on me, girls on me, on the dance floor. All eyes on me, party like a rock star. You can find me in VIP. All eyes on me, yeah, where the girls are. This is how your nights will be.
All right. Welcome everybody to Gogotalx, brought to you by Gogotalx. I am your host, as always, Malachi Johns, and today we are joined by my man, Blue Eye Darryl. How are you, sir?
What it do, man? I'm good, bro. How you doing,
I
man? I
just
mean, I can
learned
see your
today.
background.
What's that?
I can see by your background how you doing. That shine coming through that window.
Oh man, yeah. Well, it's no rain out here, so I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, yeah. So I just learned today that it's Darrell, but we're gonna go
No,
with
it's
Darrell.
actually the way we're gonna go with Darryl. We're gonna
Yeah,
go
we're
with
gonna
Darryl.
go with Darrell because that's what I've been calling you for 20 some years.
Yeah,
So I don't want to mess it up. How you doing, man? You
yeah.
good?
Yeah, man. I'm blessed, man. You know, once you wake up, ain't no problems after that. That's the biggest problem for me. You know, once you get
Indeed,
up there in age, we start worrying about that. So when we was 20, we was just moving. So once
oh
I
man,
wake up.
you're only 27, man. You good?
Yeah, I'm only
You good?
27. Yeah, I'm only 27. Once you wake up, it is what it is, man. Every day is a blessed day, no matter what.
Indeed, indeed. Well, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
And thanks for having
So
me.
why don't you, same thing I do on everything. Tell us how you got started in music, and then specifically in go-go. Give us the whole
Well,
story as long as you want.
well, it all started with my brother playing
Okay.
music every weekend, playing music. And the first go-go song I heard, other than a little bit, Mr. Magic, Grover Washington, I heard my brother had the Peacemakers.
Okay.
And I heard that, and then he came home with Shady Groove, a group from Virginia, and man, and we had the reel to reel back in the day, the old reel to reel machine. And one
Hmm.
side he had all slow music, and on the other side he had all fast music and these two go-go songs. And then after that, I went to Anacostia Pop, and I seen Juju live, and he was doing a solo. At the end of the night, it was over. Everybody was walking home, but he was going. I turned around, but my ride didn't know I turned around. I turned all the way around, and somehow I made it on stage. And he was still soloing. And when he stopped, he just started talking to me. And man, that I got in trouble because I missed my ride. I had to walk home. So after that, and my buddy, he played for a church, a neighborhood church we had in the neighborhood called Brother Bob, and he was a drummer, but he lived right across the alley. And he let me keep his drums, and the rest is history, man. And we moved from
Wow.
one end of Waller Plate, Willow Road, and moved to the other end. And it was like I moved to a whole nother city because I had Lil Mike, 32. Well, they wasn't that names then, but Lil Mike was always Lil Mike.
Hmm.
Bruce Bailey, Duke, Mighty Mo, everybody had lived on that end. I had just moved on, and it was Bump, Stink, all them. They was young then, so but it just hit me, and here we are.
Well, let me ask you a question. So because I think part of the reason for this show is to try to connect the dots between like most musicians in go. I think there's a lot of fans that would like to see
Mhm,
Go Go just stay in DC, but most
mhm,
musicians that I know want to see it go further. And I
mhm,
personally feel, and I know some other people feel like where we are, where we're missing the boat there, at least in one part, is records, right? Is
mhm.
recording records. So I'm interested to know because you mentioned that you were listening to the real the Peacemakers and Shady Groove. Were you converted then? Were you like, I love this shit then when you heard the record?
Once I heard that.
Okay.
Well, when I heard the records, I was, I wanted to play it. Plus, my brother was the drum major for the school. And so, but when I seen Juju, it was over. I knew then that's what I wanted to do.
Well, so what do you think the difference is between the way that those records were recorded versus how things are recorded now?
The sound, they had that, they was real fast pace. The pace has, now I think the pace is a little slower some nights. It all depends on how we feel. But yeah, it was more of the, that, and they was originals. That I know that you just can't make an original off the head, but people think it's easy, but just like I know, it's not easy. But it was that Shady Groove, man. If you heard it, that junk flew like that. It was like no flaws, and they sat down, was like, let's go. And Shady Groove, I know the whole album today. If you played it, I would be both of the rapper, because everybody don't know they had two rappers. Like I was like that. That junk, it sucked me in, and I knew when I seen Juju, that was the icing on the cake. I knew. I said that's what I want to play, just like him. And he was the reason. Then I snuck out and seen Pops at Panorama Room, and it was like Sugarfoot walked up to me. He didn't know me. I wasn't even in the business. I was sneaking, trying to go through the back door. And he seen me, and he just started talking to me. And then when I seen him play, it was over. I said, that's what I'm going to train. So somehow I just end up with all equipment. I know Bojack and them had the trash can with Trash Connection. They wanted to be, a little off of Junkyard, and they had broke up, and I had all the equipment in my house, and I used to just wake up. I slept in the basement anyway, so it was like I woke up, did what I did, got my cereal. I was in the basement. I didn't even go outside. I taught myself how to do this, all the percussion.
So why was the equipment at your house?
Trash Connection had broke up. They had a misunderstanding. They was, and nobody wanted to keep the stuff that and I knew all of them. I lived both sides of the Willow Road. So I don't even know how, but I knew Bo. I don't know how I ended up with all that stuff, but I know all that equipment ended up in my house. I know Bojack had a lot. He was like one of the leaders of the band, and Amp. He was a drummer. So I ended up with all that stuff in my house, man. Right in the basement, and that was it. It was on the popping there every day. My mother let me play. She'll start flicking the lights about 8 o'clock. Like, all right, that's enough. But when I woke up from that, whatever time I woke up, she just let me play. Come home from work, she just go upstairs. She said she couldn't hardly hear me anyway. So. Put in the work.
Installation in that house, because I remember I used to rehearse with my band in my basement, and my mother definitely could hear that, and she was not happy.
I don't know, for some reason, it was a 3-story, and the basement was like built in the ground. It had little windows, but it worked. And she ain't complain. I guess she knew where I was at. She ain't had to worry about looking for me. So,
True indeed.
When I moved to the other end, and I met, little Mike and 32. Bruce Bailey, man, it was Mighty Mo. Mighty Mo will always sit out front, and you could see him. If you walked up that hill, you was gonna see Mighty Mo. Right. And it was "What's Up, Shawty?" and like Godfathers. Like we had red S's on Xavier Street. We sat outside there. Man, it was a calling, man. It just sucked me in.
Well, let me ask you a question, because you mentioned 2 instances where 2 of the most legendary drummers of all time, Juju and Sugar, just happened to come up and start talking to you. Why do you think they just randomly came up and started talking to you? Because when I was coming up in Go-Go, which was a few years later, of course, nobody ever just came up with, maybe because I'm white, and they was like, what the fuck is this white guy doing? Wow. But no randomly came up and started talking to me.
Yeah, I don't know, man, because I noticed that, by over the years of playing, especially when we play outside, the kids, I'd be amazed. I must have had that, like I was stuck. Like I didn't care about nothing was going on. I was focused on the drums.
Mhm.
And when Juju was playing, as soon as he finished, he was like, "What's up, Shawty? You want to play?" I was like, "Nah, I don't know how to play." Like I've never played the drums ever in my life. But when I seen him, I wanted to play the drums. And then when I snuck out the house and went to the panorama room, and I don't know, I was standing in the right spot behind the outside when they was loading in, and he pulled up, got out the car, was watching. He just shook my hand, almost broke it. So if you ever shook him for his hand, everybody know, brace yourself, He just started talking to me, like, "You interested in the drums?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "You ever played?" I was like, "No." And he was like, "Something you should pick up doing." And then once I got that equipment, man, it was over. Every day I took, it was just me.
So did nobody gave you any pointers or taught you or anything? You just went in there and just figured it out.
I figured it out.
Watching anything on TV, or like, how did you even know what to do?
We ain't have all that. The funny thing is, when we moved on the other end of Willow Road, I lived right on top of Valley Green, and I used to get EU. Sugar Bear and them play, that's they home. So I would get EU. And plus I had Water Place. I had Lil Mike Junkyard would play on Water Place all the time. I went to school with all of them. So it was like I would see it. And then we put together, man. Look, my first band was Water Place Groove, was me and Duke before they came Duke and the boys. We put the band together, and the little OGs of the neighborhood bought us equipment.
Nice.
And we just put into work. They told us they didn't want us on the street. They gave us something to do. So they really went to the music store and bought us congos, drums. Man, they bought everything.
Wow.
Everything. Shout out to Lil Russell, man. Everything. I mean, all real stuff. No Mickey Mouse drums. I had Pearl. My first drum set was a Pearl. Looked like the blue glitter ball.
Yeah, so, disco ball.
Yeah, disco ball. Yeah, man. They bought us everything we needed, man. And to say, this is what we want y'all to do. So we played, got our band together. When Junk played, they used to let us play with him. That's when I saw Heavy One. And he was doing all this stuff that I was single kicking. I had to teach him myself. When I seen him, and another one just started talking to me and was like, "Man, get you one of these paddles and it's easy to." And I went and found him, got some money, went and got me a paddle, was a little looser. I just put in the work, man, in the basement. Stuff everybody doing now, they call it shedding. I call it in the basement. That's what I was doing. I was by myself.
Because you're going a little too fast, and I want to point out the fact to everybody that's watching, literally, Juju, Sugar for Ricky, and the Heavy One all just came up and started talking.
I went to school with Heavy One. Once I got in high school, junior high, high school, we all have the Junkyard, all the bands. All of us lived in that little Southeast Willow Road, Berry Farms area. So we seen each other all the time. I had Bruce 32. I had like 5 people who are names in this business. My neighbors, I could literally go out my house and run into any one of them. We all hung on Water Place. Everybody hung on Water Place. So it was like we had it. So yeah. But just like when you was interested, like I see a kid now when I'm playing, and if I see him focus on me, I tell him, "Come over here. You can beat on this drum. Here go 2 sticks. I'm not even gonna hit it. You can have that drum and that cymbal, and I don't care what you do." And because that's how you try to get more and more. I feel that I'm here now, so they talk to me to be here. Yeah, reach one, you teach one. Hopefully, make them. I know the parents may not like the noise, but
yeah, my mother. I wanted some drums so bad. My mother wasn't having it. She was like, "No way, you're gonna play guitar. That's it."
My mother was with it, but it was my stepfather who, he brought all the drums home after I got my personal set. One of the teachers in his school gave him the drums, but he brought every piece home but the snare. I had to go to work with him one night, and then I opened up the closet, and I was like, "Pops, what's this?" He was like, "Oh yeah, I was waiting to bring that home because that one louder than all the other pieces I brought home, but it was the most important part I needed, right?"
Right.
Man, but
That's
I ain't know
funny.
nothing though, man. I mean, it's been fun. I wouldn't change it though. I wouldn't change it.
That's what's up. Well, we got a couple of questions from the audience. I want to shout out some people that are on. So we got my man Brown's Professional Carpet Care on. I'm not sure what
Doughboy, that Doughboy.
Oh, that's Doughboy. Oh, okay. He said
That
he wants to
Doughboy.
know.
What's up, bro?
He wants to know why don't you go by the name Foxy Blue anymore?
Oh my God. I shouldn't have never told him. That was actually my name that we had for Valley Green Groovers. Yeah, we had a band of Valley Green too. I seen Foxy Brown with EU and daggone Valley Greens. Cause we was funny, man. We had put the band together, and I was supposed to be the drummer. But the dude, Pete, my man Pee Wee, he was on the congos. I was better than him on the congos, and at that time he was better than me on the drums. So we switched. So I ain't had no names. So I went to Foxy Brown was one of my favorite congo players, so that's who I was.
That's what's up. It's funny that that's a recurring theme through most of these stories is that people, like I had E-Time from CCB last week, and CCB, he started as the manager, and then he went to the timbales, and then he played the drums, and then he was the lead talker. It's funny how people just sort of switch around from instrument to instrument over time.
When you got that love, you stick around. When you got that real love, you stick around. You stick around.
Yeah.
And then you got the talent to do other things, so you'll stick. You'll be here. I gotta love it because I'm still here. I know I got love for it. It's me. It's me.
Indeed. I know. I feel like it's just gonna, as much other stuff as I do, like it's just never going away. Like I can never get away from it. It's just it just becomes the central beacon of your entire life. You know what I mean? It's such a powerful art form. Not to get too academic, but so my man Mike Arnold on here said,
Mike,
"What's up,
my brother?"
Yeah,
my brother.
You know, me and Mike played in our first go-go band together in Annapolis, which you probably Jay White used to come down and play.
Yeah, that's why I met Mike at. That's my
homie. Yeah.
Sure.
So Occupation Band, man. That was my first go-go band.
I remember seeing you down there. I remember that when we.
I'm pretty easy to pick out of the crowd, you know.
Oh, you crazy, man. We all the same color, bro.
Indeed. Let's see. Somebody else had another question. Got T-Bone, Trouble Funk. T-Bone on here. He watches so much. Okay, Darryl Jones wants to know, did Foots have an influence on you, even though he was more straight ahead style?
Y'all, people don't know. I tell Asses used to practice on. Well, they got these houses on Xavier Street, and when I was in the my Connoisseurs band, which was Rare Ray, because Rare Asses was on the top, they were Rare Asses, so we used to sit outside of the house and listen to them practice. So one day, practice was over. Foots used to always say, "What's up, Shawty?" and "What's up, little youngins?" and all that. But Godfather, everybody know Godfather. He talked to you. Right. So just one day, Foots come out and he'd say, "Shawty, come here." I go up on the steps. He already got this big old army. Remember them old back in the day army, the real army duffel bags.
Yeah.
He had one of those bags, Malachi, filled up with stamps and everything. And he say, "Stay right here. Call your homies. I got some more." So they had just transformed to the white drum set. They that back in the day they had a wood color joint. He gave me everything he had. I honestly tell you, he gave me everything. He didn't know me, but I found out later that he went to school with my sister. My sister and him was like this. So, but he didn't know me. I was a little knucklehead little dude. So when he gave me that stuff, man, you should have seen us struggling to get from the house to my house with these big duffel bags. And we was dragging. That's how I knew they was real, because they didn't even tear. Like man, I had ghost paddles. I had the whole drum set. He gave me everything, every percussion joint they had. They got new stuff. So they got the first white drums. I think they had the white congos. I had all of old stuff. So, you know, but then they also played up Highland all the time or in front of their house every summer, a couple of times. And I lived right across the street. So when EU wasn't playing, I got to see Fuss. And then that's how I found out why they called him Fuss, because he kicked with this part of his foot. Like you had to be standing behind him to know that. So, but as years went on, it was funny that person asked me, because before I got with Rare S's, I was with Jump, and Fuss I used to always notice him there, but I didn't know he was there early to see me play.
Oh, wow.
I never knew that until after the fact, when I got to know X and them, and he was telling me the stories, and he used to always say, man, the dude don't even change his clothes. He just sit down, go to work, and get right up. He said, but the drive he has, like Fuss knew about me, stuff I didn't know. But when he told me, and I was just like, man, he never said not one word. When I got to know him before he passed, he never said one thing about that. But when I seen him talking to my sister, he looked, he said, that's your little brother. And from there on, it was like the love. Like, so every time I play, he has to have influence, because all the drummers seem like a heavy one. Juju is the reason I'm playing the drums. Sugarfoot, I got all of them somewhere in my style when I play every night. It's something I do that comes from each and last one of them, but I just throw me on the top of it. If you know your music, you'll know that Sugarfoot did that, or that's a Juju joint. That's a heavy one beat. Like every drum, like I just put them all in one, and I got to keep them going some kind of way, you know. As long as I'm able to put them down, man, I'm gonna play them. They're gonna always be heard. At least I know I'm doing them. That's my way of giving back. Wouldn't be me if it wasn't for them. Like, come on,
for sure.
Like,
for sure. Well, so let's back up again a little bit. So you because when I asked you the first question, we fast forwarded a little bit. So I want to get the rest of the story. So okay, so you're Wild Place Groovers, which then Rare Raid, is that what you said?
No, Wild Place Grooves turned later on. Once I left, it's funny. I left there. We went to this is crazy. I met Hug this day too. I left and we went to a talent show they was having at the Recreation Center, and that's when I met Vilbo and Ultimate Groove, and I knew the dude since I lived on top of Willow Road. Valley Green and all that was right there, and all my friends lived in Valley Green. And then you can go across the street. It was Connoisseurs and all that. So I wandered down there, and I met my man Keith and Emma Terrell, and I went to Rare Ray. Yeah, it was Rare Ray, because Rass's was, you know, that Highland and Highland Connoisseur. It was at the bottom of Highland. So we took Rare Ray, and we went to this talent show. And I met Vilbo, and we was going back and forth. Oh, he was like, man, what's the name of your band? I told him Rare Ray. He said, man, what the type of name is that? And I was like, what's the name of your band? He was like, Ultimate Groove. And I was like, what the type of name was that? But I was like, we had our name. We was going back and forth, but.
So was Air Ray was already out by this time, I assume, correct?
Yeah, Air Ray was out. All them bands was out. It was just Ray S's thing. I don't know why they picked Ray. I don't know why, but they had the name when I got there. So I knew they had the Rare part because of Rare Asses, because we was, you know, neighbors or whatever. So matter of fact, the next time I talk to Keith, I'm going to ask him, why did they pick the Raid part? I'm going to ask him.
It makes sense. Rare Asses plus Air Raid. Rare Raid. You know.
Well, see, but Air Raid wasn't as big then, you know. They wasn't as big. You just seen Rasses, EU, Trouble Funk, Pops. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else, he was like, oh, their name was about this big on the fly. You know, back in them days. So, well, on the poster, not the fly, with the poster. I'm telling my age, I had poster. So, so I went from
27, man. You're 27. It's all right.
Man. I feel it sometimes. I feel it more times than not, though. I feel 27. I feel
I know,
27
man.
live.
That's what we're going with. That's what we're going with. We're stamping it right now. He is 27
Mm-hmm.
years old. So okay, so from then from Rare Raid, how did that go? How and why did that end? And what was next?
I think I think I got too good. I don't know if that's the right words. I was progressing,
Grew
and
out of
then
it.
I stayed more around. I guess it had something to do with staying more around Waller Place than I did going back around Connoisseurs. Because I stayed more. Waller Place was like right there, just jump the fence. I was on Waller Place, and everybody came to Waller Place.
Mhm.
So then once I met Vilbo at the talent show, it's funny. The very next day, I hooked school and I walked to Cherries and met him, and he took me to his neighborhood, which was Southwest Bald Eagle,
Mhm.
and that's how I got an Ultimate Groove, man. Yep. The day I met him and we was going back and forth over the names, I actually hooked school the very next day and walked from my house to Cherries and met him, and we walked to his house because he was hooking school too. He went to Friendship, and I met the whole band, and it was like Pete and all of us, man. It was a whole. They was more, I guess, more experienced than they were better than Red Raid. I mean, I'm not afraid to say that, and I was.
You said it already. It's okay.
Yeah, they was better, so it was like, yeah, it was.
So was it
Then
just
I
about the
end
fact
up.
that they played better, or were they more? Were they playing more? Were they more successful already, or were they just
No, it was
were?
a neighborhood band. They was just neighborhood bands too. It was just maybe the camaraderie, and they was like they really hung like back. Like I always say, I go see Backyard, I get chill bumps because I know the love. Like I know the love. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't fake. I
Right.
felt that with them. Even today, like PD, like Lil Bruce, like everybody came through Ultimate Groove.
Right.
So and the love they had, and everybody was cool. And the next thing you know, I hung around them every day. I would find a way to get from Willow Road to Southwest every day. I just stopped hanging around my neighborhood. That's how I got with Ultimate Groove. And then Junk and all that came along.
Well, how long were you? How long were you with Ultimate Groove?
It was so long that it didn't matter. Like when we went on and went to Junkyard, because a couple of us was able to play with Junkyard and High Cold Sweats, we still had Ultimate Groove. Like if we could play, we played. Vilbo always had a replacement. Buggy was always one of my replacements. Lil Mike. So we always had. That's what I'm saying. It was like a big old circle of musicians who were cool. So
Right.
it was like the band and always was together. It was like once in the yard, always in the yard. Once you played with the Ultimate Groove, you always played with Ultimate Groove.
Right.
So it didn't matter. The band didn't
So
end until Bill passed away.
gotcha. And so when did that end, and what was the next step? So one of the things I want to say, like some people, I mean, most of the people that are on here right now are people that probably know some of these stories, know a bunch of these people.
Mm-hmm.
But some of these, the idea with this is that people that don't know anything about go-go are going to watch them. So I want to make sure that we're like explaining, you know what I'm saying, like what we're talking about a little bit. So Ultimate Groove, like what would you say is the pinnacle of like the success of Ultimate Groove? Like what was the best clubs y'all played at? How often? Like what was it? Did you ever record anything while you were there?
Yeah, we recorded. Ultimate Groove. I can't think of the name, but Ivan Golf was the producer. Rest in peace, to Ivan. We played at a lot of the clubs, like the very first Safari Club that was on 5th and K, Triples, all of wherever Big Butch had a show. Then we got a manager, and when we was in a lot of the club, we opened up for all the bands, Rare Asses, all the bands. Ultimate Groove was a household name. So but the pinnacle, we put in, it was so much grind. I think every day was like, every time we played was great. So, I guess when we used to put have the Congo players come play, our manager used to rent the club, Safari Club out, and we have Congo, put the Congos on the floor, Saws, Mike, Petey, all the Congo players, man. whoever was a Congo player back in them days would come. Like we had the Congo battle back then, but it wasn't a battle. It was fun because we played with Backyard so much. Ultimate Groove, Backyard, Top Secret, all the little grind bands we played together. Like if Ultimate Groove was playing, all the other bands knew they can come and play wherever we was at. That's just how we did it. Like we'd go and find friendship and have our own go-go while Cherries was going on. We ain't Cherries, we have our own go-go. Backyard, the Ultimate Groove, Certified Funk. We just do it like that, man. So Ultimate Groove played a big part in this, definitely in my life. Vilbo showed me some real, like, yeah, that's how I found out you can't do it by yourself, you know. No matter how big somebody is, we still a team.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how I roll with it today. Is like Vilbo let you know, like, we don't need you, buddy. Everybody is guilty of smelling themselves from time to time. Vilbo was the one that will wake you up. You think you're gonna play, he got Buggy already behind the drums. He already had you put down play. He brought you back to life, man, and that's why I always never got real big head no matter what I done. So, but yeah, Ultimate Groove was probably the Safari Club days, because it took a lot for us to get in Safari Club. And then once Big Butch got a whiff of us, he always had us playing. So, yeah.
Well, that's interesting because, you know, out of all the bands I ever played with, I mean, I didn't play for Backyard, but I filled in with them for a few months, long enough to realize how different the culture of their band is. And it sounds like it came from those early days. You know what I mean? There's just a level of respect and family, and, you know, just significantly less ego.
They the same way right now, Monica, and it's crazy. They are the same way right now. I mean, you know, everybody busy, got, you know, married or working, but nothing never changes. What you can still, when you see them play, you know, it's like, damn. You start, you know, you be like, man, I want to play with that. Like that's what it's about right there. Like, it's crazy. And like, that's why I always call them the wickedest band alive. I mean, that's just me. That's just me.
You call Backyard the wickedest band alive?
Yeah, they got what band got more of the original members than them?
True indeed. That's some controversy right there. I'm gonna have to clip that and put it on Instagram to promote the show. Right? Doughboy said that was Foxy Blue down ATL this past weekend.
Hey, now that was some back in the backyard type of stuff right there. That was like go back in the day when you was in it. You'll go to y'all show and you'll see about 6-7 different bands. And then you'll look up, half of them on stage with the band, just having fun, wasn't trying to get no money. It was like, that's my man. Like, you might have just hung with Genghis that whole day and just popped up at the show. It ain't like that no more. Now everybody beefing, don't know why they beefing. It's just stupid, man. It's the stuff
let me ask you about that, about the money thing, because that is definitely something that I think really affects the culture. It's at least from my experience, which of course I'm a little bit younger, but I'm only 23, you're 27. You know, and, you know, when I was coming up in the band, like when me and Mike Arnold played in the band, like I had never made a fucking red penny. Like it wasn't even about that. It was just about, we want to crank the shit out whoever's on the stage before us or after us. And that is literally all it was about. And I literally saw, like, people were paying to get in the door, and I wasn't getting any of it, and I didn't give a flying fuck about that. I just wanted to crank. You know what I'm saying? So is it just you think the age and level of responsibility that changes that in us? Because it's a very different culture now. There's a very, you know, like in go-go, it's like if you are anybody that has any degree of ability, I'm not even showing up unless you got an envelope for me. You know what I mean? True. What do you think? Really think that?
I didn't really get into it like that until I got with Rare Essence because they was the first band I filled out an application. You know what I'm saying? I was mind blown over that. Like I was like, application like this a go-go band, but I didn't understand the X's and O's because all I wanted to do was play. Like when I first got on the scene with Physical Wonder, I made $15 a night. We played with everybody, and Cherries. If you know, Cherries was jam packed every night. Our manager owned it, and then the $15 he was giving me, I was spending it to keep his drum set good. Right, but it was just like I didn't care. It was like I'm getting to play, like this what I wanted to do, and this once I got with Rare Essence and I felt, and then we started getting checks and taxes, and then started like, oh, I'm in big boy league now. I gotta get my stuff together. It's like I know I missed a whole lot of money because the love, but I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it. So I guess these days, man, it's more about the bag than the love or the go-go joint. Like it shows today we've gone played and it don't be that good, but we still go hard, and that's the love. Like we'll get the bag and the next day. Like nowadays, ain't nobody in here. I don't want to do this. Like, so you just here for the bag. This is about the bag, and it's not everybody, but the more about the bag outweighs the love to me now. It's easy to see. Easy to see.
100%. Well, and I think that affects. That unfortunately affects the quality of the music because then it becomes about the money as opposed to the passion and the care that you put into the music. But I skipped ahead again. So Ultimate Groove was Junkyard next after Ultimate Groove?
The Ultimate Groove I went to Junk in like 87. Ultimate Groove I went to Physical Wonder.
Okay. Shout out to Doc. He turned me down. I tried out for Physical Wonder one time. And
he shot you down? Oh, I'm gonna get on about that. I got you, dog. I got you because I drive Doc Blues.
Nah, that's my man. 50 grand. Doc and Clip. Those are my guys, man. They used to be, I'm from Annapolis. Me and Mike. And they used to be in Annapolis.
And that's nice to see you all the time too. When I got with them, because we stayed down, man. Doc is a lane finder. I'll give him that.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's funny, Malachi. It's a funny story about that. I had my little buddy I used to hang with that I taught him how to play the congos, but I barely knew how to play. So, and Doc and them was transforming from the singing group to the go-go band.
Right.
And one night they played down Cherries and they didn't have a Congo player. And the little dude who named is Star, who was the rapper for our band, Valley Green Groovers, and I was just teaching him. So he got on stage.
Wait, Valley Green Groovers? You left that out. I thought it was Wilder Place Groovers, and then
we had because Wilder Place is right here, and Valley Green was right. You go through so you had
two different bands.
Two different bands. They had Valley Green Groovers and Wilder Place Groovers. Valley Green ain't last. That was probably about 2 months. It ain't last that long.
Gotcha.
That one ain't last that long because all the band members we was doing what we had to do, back in them days. So
Yep.
So and he got the job, and he came to my house the next day. Hands is tore up, bloody. I was like, man, what you was doing? He was like, man, I went down there to see because Rasmus was down Cherries and with Physical Wonder. He was like, I went to see RE. The first band ain't had no Congo player, so I got up there and I'm looking at him like, and they let you play because I'm teaching you how to play. I know where you at it, and I'm like.
Right.
He was like, yeah, I'm in the band. I'm like, you in the band? You a rapper. So he's like, man. But his whole thing was to get me the job. So Doc was asking him who taught. He was like, yeah, my brother. We call each other. He was like, my brother taught me how to play. And he was like, well, my brother better than me. And, Doc, I thought he just was talking. So one day he told me to meet him at Cherries. He had practice. I get to church, Doc and all them outside. They don't know me. They think I got on all black. They don't know me. They thinking somebody about to get them.
Yeah.
So Doc, I'm standing out there with him 45 minutes before he even said something to me. So he come to me, he's like, man, are you waiting on somebody? And I was like, yeah, my little brother said he played the congas for this band that's practicing here. And he was like, who, you little short, dark-skinned dude? And I was like, yeah, that's my little brother, Star. He was like, you the brother that taught him how to play? And I was like, yeah. So they goes in. My little brother never show up. So Doc say, man, can you play until your brother come? I was like, cool. So I played. Doc was, Doc like, man, I don't want to, start nothing between you and your brother. But if you want to play, you can have the job. You just get stuck to, discuss it with your brother. So when I get back, practice over, I walk outside. He outside, laughing.
He did. He set you up.
Yeah, he said me, but he said his whole agenda was to get me to play because he knew I was better. He knew he couldn't play. His hands was bloody from that one little time because playing in the basement and playing at a show was two different things.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So that's how I started. I got the job, and man, Doc I wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be for Doc. I put Doc through a whole lot. Doc have dealt with a lot when it comes to
that is my man. 50 grand.
That's my pop.
There X on here. He said Valley Green. What with all the laughing? He's just don't hate. X,
everything was groovers or express. Like we had to keep up with, I'm saying, making up a name. That was hard. That was hard. So you use your hood and put whatever band that you like behind it.
Everything was band and show. Yeah.
We very seldom say the name anyway. We just played, so it ain't even matter.
Right.
It ain't even matter.
So how long did you play with Fizz?
It seemed like I never stopped. But before I think I went to Doc and them like 85, maybe 80, 84, 85. And then Junk came along at the same time.
Okay.
And it was like with Doc, man, it was like once I left and went to Junk, and then of course I got suspended too from Junk from not being good in school. Okay. Doc was always there. He was always there. So it's like every time I went on suspension, which was twice, both the same. Yeah, I was messing up in school. Mo ain't play that. I always went back to Junk. I mean, back to Physical Wonder. Doc always had home for me, man. So it's like I feel like I'm part of Doc now, even though I play with Junk. Like, if he need me, he know I can't tell him.
So he wasn't upset. Like Doc wasn't upset that you went with JY.
No, because we had built so many relationships. Like when I went to Junk the first time, we finally had got Craig Clipper because I was going back and forth with Physical Wonder too, the drums and we finally got clipped. And when I went to Junk, I wasn't even playing the congos. I went to Junk on congos because Wink got suspended. Oh, and we played. It was like we played together every week, and all of us was cool. So he wasn't as mad as he was this time as he was back then.
Gotcha.
This time he was pissed off at me.
I only asked because I played with OP Tribe for a little bit in 97, I think. And then I went back to Montana to go to college. And when I came back, that's when I started playing with Northeast, like 2000, I think. And he was pissed at me. He was mad as shit that I went and played for Northeast instead of coming back to play with OP Tribe. So I wasn't sure if Doc felt the same way.
Yeah, but we were so close. Doc played a big part in my life. So he knew it. Like he felt as though I got you to where you can expand. Junk was doing way more than we was doing anyway. Right. And then, that's what it was about. And Doc didn't really trip. He didn't really trip because he knew he still has, Ty was right there. We had a drummer called Ty who would fill in for me anyway. So it was like I didn't stop anything. It was just, I just wasn't around my mans that much, But I still see him because we played in Cherries almost every week anyway.
Right.
So, But like I said, I know he wasn't pissed as much as he was this time. Because it seemed like it felt like it revolved all the way back around.
Right. I didn't even know you went back again. Like I didn't even know that. But I've been gone for
Malachi, because Doc is the lane builder. That lane he has for familiar faces.
Yep.
Faces, I'm sorry. Faces, I'm sorry, Doc. I'm sorry, Doc. I'm sorry. For that lane, I tell anybody this. I was at the end when I finally ended with Rare Ashes. I was drained. I was done mentally, physically. I was done.
Right.
Doc called me that same day and had me playing 2 days later. But he had me so far, I was away from everything, Malachi. And like every show was like a recharge. Right. I tell anybody, if you ever in that type of, man, ask Doc let you play, man. Because that lane, no, I ain't never played with a band that didn't argue about nothing. Yep. I ain't know what to do.
That comes from leadership. That comes from leadership. Like I wish I was.
It was so many. Man, you ain't gonna be able to play with this. You ain't gonna be able to play. Man, Halima is my sister. That's my baby. Like I was like, how y'all couldn't play with her? That's the problem. Like y'all must have been the problem for real. Right. She the beast. Like whatever.
And like the sweetest person ever. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. That's my sister, man. I like come on, man.
Yeah.
Like she was pissed off more than Doc, I think. Yeah. But they understood. Doc understood what, I'm a push drummer, as I call myself.
Right.
And it wasn't like I went looking, or it was like it just fell in place. My brother needed a break. He called like nobody know me and Big Young, and we like this. It wasn't like they fired him and I came. No. I talked him in the stand 3 times. But then when House passed, he had enough. He felt like I felt, and I understood.
Yeah.
And once Mo called, rest is history, man. Here I am 5 years later. I think that's what we working on. Don't seem like it, but here we are.
Well, rest in peace to House. That's me and House, or I think House is who brought me into OP Tribe, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, with OP Tribe, he used to always come down to Annapolis to see our band and to play with our band. And House came down. Yep, 100%. So, So, okay. So we're at Physical Wonders the first time, and then into Junkyard. So how did that happen? How did you go from Physical Wonders? You started playing congos with Jump first. Oh yeah, you said Wink was suspended. That's right.
Wink got on suspension.
And then
just going to school with them. And like Lil Mike lived on a lot of places. I lived in High Point. That was next door neighbors. I seen him every day. Then going to school with everyone, Bugs, Baker. We all was tight. And Bugs remembered I could play the congos. And and Mo just kept saying, man, he ain't no congo player, he a drummer. Because that's all, every time they came to church, I was on the drums with Physical Wonder. And Bugs was like, nah, Mo, he played the congos too. So it was really Bugs and, everyone knew I can play. And we went to school and we was boys, we was like, it was no animal. It was cool. So it was like, it was easy. So then Mo, they let me play. Rest of here I am.
So how long did you play? So Wink was suspended. How long was he suspended? And then was it after Heavy One passed? You know what I'm saying?
Like, this was the beginning because both of them was getting in trouble. Like it seemed like when Wink came back, Heavy One would get suspended. So Mo would just move me to the drums. And Wink could come back for a little time. Yeah, I just kept going back and forwards until one time Mo had said,
Chief came on, I was just speaking.
Oh yeah, then Mo just got tired because we had contemplated getting Clip. Craig Clipper was on because Wink could come back and then everyone get suspended and everyone to come back, Wink could get suspended. And I just was go back and forth. We had a terrible time of finding drummers and congo players. So we stuck with Leslie when Mo finally put Will on definitely suspension, as I call it. And then I think Wink went to Job Corps, or he had to get a night job. It was something like that. And I had to play the congos. And then it was like, once Wink was able to come back, Mo just kept me on the drums. And every time I played from then on, I always played the drums.
Gotcha. And then how long did that last that time?
Well, I got with Junk in 86, and I came back right after, from 86, I got suspended in 88 before the Capitol Center show. God, yeah, I got suspended.
Bad timing on that one, huh?
Man, you know how we is when we was young. I got suspended. So I guess the first round lasted about 2 years maybe. But then I was right back. I was right back in the 90s. I played in the 90s like 3-4 times. Like then the 2000, here I am again in the 2000. Like I just, once you kept going in and you become one of them, they got who they knew fit. So it was like every time once I got out of school, and then when Mo left, I still went back. I played again, and I left, and man, it was just so much, man. I got the Southeast Sounds in one of them transitions. It's so much, man. It was so much to do.
I remember.
I had left Jump. We was in one of them transitions, and we was playing in this warehouse one night, and we took a break, Malachi. And I went outside to my car. The sun was coming up. Literally. Yeah, we were supposed to be on break. And the sun was coming up. You know what I did? What? I got in my car. I left everything. Somehow I had my keys. I left everything I had in there. And I got in my car and went home. I've never played. We were on break. And I was like, man, the sun was coming up. We was inside for so long and it was pitch black dark. We forgot what time it was. That's how I knew we was, and it was for free. We was in the warehouse, no security. It was like, Junk, we about to play. Like, come on up. Like, it was just one of those times. So I left, and that's when I got with Southeast Sounds. That was a great experience for me too. I met some great brothers, man. It was just grind, man. It was just that grind, like that ultimate groove grind, like us backyard. Like that's what makes it like go now. These musicians are being handed these beautiful jobs, and they're not accepting them like that. You know, you're supposed to know what you're doing. You step in. If that's like a white boy call you and say, "I need you to fill in," he expecting for you to know that. You know what I'm saying? He ain't expecting for you to go on there freestyling, and that is a lot of disrespect going on, and that it kills me, man. But that ain't gonna stop me. I'm gonna keep it 100, and I'm gonna let them know that it ain't right. It ain't right.
Always have, always will, and I appreciate that.
Got it, man. Got to, man. Because I wanted the same way. You know, I can take the criticism. Like if Stomp had anything to do with it, I would be the sorriest drummer in Gogo. Like that's a joke. That's a joke. That if Stomp had anything to do with it back in them days, so that's my brother. Everybody know how me and him is.
Yeah.
But if you just man,
Left Foot Larry. I got him on next week. Yeah, I got him on next week. Yeah, so you got to come on and
man, I definitely will do that. I definitely will
ridicule him while he's on.
He got what he got going on now, Malachi, with the 18, and he's trying to bring that old feel back to Go-Go, and all that dumb. Can I cuss on here?
Yep.
Oh, and all that dumbass. This person better. Nobody is better than nobody. We all on the same boat. We all on the same lane. Let's get together. That's another reason we can't go nowhere. But what Stomp this day, I just experienced. I haven't had that much fun. I know in over 15, 20 years doing this.
I saw some of the video. Yeah.
When he did the first roll, Malachi, when he came on the one, first thing came to my head, I said, man, we about to crank. And we ain't practiced not one day, dog.
Right.
I mean, it was like the feel, like the hanging together, the riding on the planes. all that just, and then we all was on the same floor in the hotel. Nobody was stuck up. Steve Roy keep telling me he was coming from Iverson Mall, but we was in Atlanta, and it was like that type of like that. It was too much fun, bro. It was too much fun, man. It was too much. It was real love, and if anybody was faking, then they should be in Hollywood because they were some great.
They were doing a good job. They didn't come out here with me, right?
Job, man. They were some good, and I appreciate that, man. And I tell any band member, experience. If Stomp call you, man, don't tell them no. It ain't even about the band. It's just this you need to experience what he got going on. Flat Out Entertainment. Shout out to Will and them. And any of you promoters that's here that think it's about y'all, man, call Will, man. He'll show y'all how to do it, man. He'll show you how to do it, man. He'll show you how to do it.
I don't know if you saw the new flyer for the New Year's Eve joint, but they finally went through Gogotalx to get the flyer done because I kept cussing Stomp out for all them shitty ass flyers.
And you might be getting some more calls because they got stuff in the works, man. That show may be from this big to that big. Like, man, Stomp this, man. I'm a Junkyard for life. You know, that's my band. But that feel, that's how Go-Go used to be, man. Like, you can walk in the Metro Club and y'all on stage, but you look in the crowd, it's like 7, 8 bands. Like, and then rapper calling band. Well, he wasn't rap. Everybody, man.
Yeah.
Chris, well, he wasn't rapper then. Chris was called. You can get on stage. Man, it's like, come on, man. Like, that's what we missing. It's too much of that. This person, that person. You win a Go-Go award. You think you this big. Like, dog, that award not getting you not a dime, man. Like, come on, man. Don't. Anyway, man. You know,
I hear you.
I don't do this beautiful award,
100%. But the Atlanta, like Stomp, that's my dog. Like, I'm glad that that he's able to make that happen, and I'm glad to hear. I mean, of course he tells me, but it's his thing, so he's going to tell me it's great. So it's good to hear.
You make me think he's sizing it, but no,
it wasn't just him sizing the shit up,
Nah, he ain't sizing. And it ain't even with them, man. It ain't even about them making a bag because they spending money just by getting us. I mean, we stayed in top flight hotel. We had a pimped out Sprinter. Like, we wasn't riding in no. He made sure we was good. You know what I'm saying? Him and Will Flat Out, man. That it was a great experience. Like back in the day, like when you would wear asses but you had to go out of town to get it.
Right.
But this was a promoter that's one of us. He live up here with us. Right. But he's a fan first. And he got the respect. So, and it wasn't about the bag. Like, come on, man. It was too much. It was like from the day we got there, even when we was leaving, it was turned up. It was like, we about to go to the airport. Like, so what? Like, you know what I'm saying? I got to send y'all home, with a bang. It was like, man, you make me want to come even if I ain't playing. Just to be around because of the feel of the love. It was great, man. It was.
Well, I'm getting a lot of feedback on Instagram. People saying, "To thine own self be true." Said the All Stars were fire, and then I gotta scroll back. But somebody else was, it was the same person. Said, "Man, oh man, y'all were on fire in ATL." Like, so did you notice? Was it? Do you know whether there was Atlanta people in there too? Or was it mostly DC people? Or
it was. We knew the ones we knew, but you could tell it was more Atlanta because they've been there numbers of times, and it felt like we was at home, like literally. Like I kept feeling like I was at home, even when I went outside at the break time and I was standing in front of the club. It made me feel like I was on Central Avenue. What's the club? With a pool hall. The Pearl. And that's what Smoke lived. And Smoke was standing beside me. He was like, "Sirs, what's wrong?" I said, "Man, why I feel like we're on Central Avenue by your house?" So he got where I was at, and he started looking. He was like, "Sirs, you right?" So it felt like we was on Central Avenue, but we was in Atlanta. So that's just everything that transpired through the day. You just felt like you wasn't gone nowhere. You just felt like you was at home.
Fun fact about Samuel. Smoke was the first Congo player in Mambo Sauce, and the band was together. We had already recorded a song. I literally had CDs printed up that said the band with no name on them because we didn't have a name yet. So we had a meeting. Smoke was kind enough to let us have it at his house right on Central Avenue, like you're talking about. And I told him we are not leaving this place until we come up with a name. And I think it was Keith Chris, who probably played with y'all down in Atlanta, that said just jokingly was like chicken and mumbo sauce. And then everybody just kind of went from there. You know what I'm saying? So just a fun fact about a sir.
What's up,
Somebody
sir?
asked me, like, you gonna interview Smoke on here? I was like, all he gonna do is just say sir.
And Joe, he still say Joe. No, sir, Joe. Like, dog, you the only person to say that, dog.
Yeah. He always calls me William, and I call him Samuel.
His name is Sir. What's up, Sir? We do the long because he got the rag in his hands, always telling me.
Yes.
Here. I was like, boy, you got the. I thought my Jones was rag, but he got the rag.
There's no lotion made in the world that will help Smoke hands at all. What? That is funny. So
that's true, man.
So we're at Junkyard. So how did was Rare's next, or what was next after
Junkyard? In between there, I went to High Cold Sweat.
Okay. What year was that? You remember? Or around about what year?
90, 80. I think about 90 something. I don't know the year. I know because I know right. Because I went from one of them. I went to High Cold Sweat and I left there. Who did I go to? Was it Funk?
You were playing drums or congos with High Cold Sweat?
I was playing drums.
Okay.
I changed the whole band. It was me, Petey, B-Man, Wincy, Lil Tony, rest in peace. JT was on the keyboard with Roy. That was the whole band. I changed the whole band, man. Yeah, and that's that's why I have so much love for Rick, rest in peace, bro, and Rocksteady and them, because they didn't hold anything against me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I just had a vision, and Roy was with me. And it was time. We was trying to catch up. The Go-Go was leaving us. We just put up.
What do you mean by that? Break that down? What do you mean Go-Go was leaving us?
It was changing.
How?
It was changing from the old way High Cold Sweat was doing it to the new. Mm-hmm. Go-Go was even sounding different. They were still sounding like wiggle your body, High Cold Sweat. Yep. The Go-Go wasn't there no more. The Go-Go was up here. But it was, so, and then all those young dudes coming in there with all this energy and all this fire, man. Man, I think I did play in the band. Rocksteady was still there. Rick was still there. Kim was still there. We had a few of them was still there. And the next thing you know, we just started replacing. Roy just let me do anything I wanted, man. He was like, so I don't know, man. I owe a lot to Roy too. He the reason I'm here too. Like him, Doc. It wouldn't have been them two. You might not be having this interview, brother.
Well, I want to ask about that because so you say you changed the band, and this was because I'm assuming from what you're saying because they're still playing more like the late '80s style. It's to the early '90s with the the new sound of Junkyard, the Backyard, the Northeast Groovers type sound. And so it was a little outdated. So you're trying to update the sound of it, and by doing that, and I'm asking this because just because I want to educate people. Maybe this isn't the same thing that happened to you, but I know that for me, this was 2013, 2014. I started managing this band called Loud, right? And it was
Joe and them, right?
DJ, right? And yep. And I really didn't want to. I was over managing bands. I was like, I'll give this 6 months and see how it goes. It really only lasted about 6 months. But I basically, they had like 10 people in the band. And I basically sort of cut all the dead weight for everybody that was either not performing well or wasn't on the same page, brought it down to 5 people with one vocalist, which was Tiffany, which is Sweet Thing, that sings with Backyard now. And I, like, in my mind at that time, this is one of the things I consider as a mistake that I made, was in my mind, I'm getting rid of the dead weight and I'm keeping around the people that are good and I'm keeping around the people that are on point. And logically that makes sense. Though what I didn't factor in was the how am I going to say this? It affected the gel of the band. Like anybody that plays in a band know what I'm saying, the gel. It affected the way the band gelled. And, you know, Tiffany just didn't really have her confidence yet to be the only person on stage, which is something that you don't really become accustomed to in go-go because there's usually 3 or 4 other people standing right next to you. So you don't have to be out there on your lonesome.
All
you know?
eyes on you.
So, yeah, so I only asked that to, or bring that up to ask, did any of that happen when you were sort of rearranging Hot Cold Sweat?
Well, no, because I brought in everybody who I hung with every day.
Gotcha.
Like I had, like, it's literally I put B-Man in the band. One night we played at Triples and Bugs rap with us, B-Man rap with us. Somebody else got on the stage because me and Rick was, you know, kind of having me, Rick and Roy. He was calling something and me and Roy was calling something else because, again, he wasn't up here. It had nothing to do with him because they had stopped playing. Pleasure had came out. Pleasure got hot. And Charlie put him on the shelf, so to speak. You know what I mean? Yeah, because they was still, you know, Pleasure was here. Pleasure was, you know, they was up here. Then the daggone Huckabucks came. It was like, it was nothing. So Hot Cold Sweat still had a name for itself and Carl Pepper and all these spots. And man, Roy just got brain to brain, and then he knew everybody I hung with was a musician. It was just playing everybody. So I, like, first Congo player I got was Petey.
Yep.
And we had Ibo was playing the Roller Toms. Then I got B-Man was the only person I had got. B-Man. Lil Mike was already in the band, but then him and Rocksteady was tight. So when Rock left, Mike left also. And I had people already. I got Wincy. You know, this was Ultimate Groove, so it was nothing for me to go get, you know. And then I got no, I'm tripping. The first Congo player was Hammer. Hammer came.
Yeah, so we got the Black Zionist on here. I'm not sure if you know who that is, but he said, yeah, also the great Epitome Band. Shout out to Brian. And
shout out. Oh, always, man. That's how I met B-Man through Epitome, going to church. Yep. And I just put him in the band, and Wincy was a no-brainer. I hung with Wincy every day. And like, kid, you ain't Ultimate Groove wasn't doing no Wincy wasn't playing with nobody, no people. Come on, play with Hot Cold Sweat. I got Lil Tony. We hung together. Publicity band. That was my homie. So, and Hammer was with B-Man. I knew how he played. It wasn't nothing. I could play with him. Then JT was around us every day too. So it was like, there it is. It makes sense. It made sense. So what the camaraderie was easy. We knew each other. Like we already was playing on stage with each other. Like they would come to the show when I was with Hot Cold Sweat, and they wasn't because we was together that whole day anyway. So we always went to the show. So that it was easy. It just so happened we to have. Oh, I had Purrs in the band. I forgot about Purrs. Ultimate Girl. I mean, we had a couple of members in the Hot Cold Sweat before we ended up with B-Man, Wincy, and Lil Tony. One of the best front lines I had.
I still think Hot Cold Sweat is one of the best go-go band names of all time.
Man. So we had something, man, but I understand that Pleasure was hot or whatever, you know, but we had something. We was trouble. We had that backyard thing, that togetherness thing I was saying when I first came on here. Mm-hmm. It was like, we had something, but Charlie put us on the shelf. I mean, I ain't mad, you know. Pleasure was doing their thing, you know. Shout out to Pleasure.
I mean, not saying that you don't understand this because I'm sure you do, of course. But like, I think some people don't really understand that, like, when you're like a manager or a label or a person, like a person like Charlie or whatever, like you literally there's only so many hours in a day. You can only focus on so much stuff.
And then when
And
you had them ups and downs of Go-Go, like Hako Sweat had stopped being, they was one of the biggest bands. Then it died down. And Charlie ain't had nothing. He just had PAs, and next thing you know, how smart was to have an all girls band that actually sounded good.
Yep.
You couldn't,
Yep.
you couldn't beat that. You couldn't beat that. And then they look good. They sound good, look good.
Right.
You couldn't beat that.
The Black Zionist said Sunday afternoons, the first show Go-Go's at Triples with Northeast Kirk and Tommy Guns on the Congos. Yep. So that was before Smoking, before
Way before Smoke. I remember all them days. I remember all that.
Yep. So all right. So Hako Sweat, you were there after you rearranged the band. That lasted about how long?
About a good 2 years. We had a nice little good 2-year run. We had a nice little run.
And then how did that end, and where did you go next?
Charlie put us, we stopped having shows. We started realizing, actually, we got smart. We started realizing, because it got to a point where Pleasure started dying down.
Okay.
But we were still playing on shows together, but they will always play last. But then we'll go but then fire the joint up, and then people would be mad because, like, man, why y'all ain't play that? But Charlie get loyal to them because they was the bread makers, the money makers. You can't be mad at that,
For sure.
So we finally ended up. Where did I went to? I went back to Ultimate Groove because we never stopped playing. I went back to Ultimate Groove, and then the Darryl thing came up. No, I played with Prop first. No, I played with Darryl first. Yeah, I played with I played with Prop first. I'm tripping. Then the Prop Utensil thing came through Roy.
Okay.
He took me to the Ibex. Man, I don't want to tell this story.
Nah, tell it.
He took me to the Ibex, and my brother Jimmy Jam, the old Hako Sweat drummer, he was Proper Utensils drummer.
Okay.
Now, at this time, I didn't know that, like, I was recording stuff with Funk, but I didn't know he wanted me to play.
Okay.
So I go to the show with Roy. We had the Ibex. Jimmy Jam is enjoying himself. I'm going to put it, that's the best way I can put it.
Okay.
He was enjoying himself that day, right?
Gotcha.
Funk didn't like it.
Gotcha.
So next thing you know, Funk gives this man a solo. I stopped counting after 15 minutes, man. But he wasn't in no shape to do a solo, if you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Without the band, you was noticing he was like, he feeling it tonight. So Funk in his feelings, gives Jam a solo. People trying to get the solo over. He gets on the mic. I said, Jimmy Jam, nobody else. He in that type of mode. If you know Funk, y'all know what I'm talking about. He in that type of mode.
Yeah.
So that day, and I finally catch on. So I'm in my feelings because I'm feeling like, well, you put me in the middle or something, and that's Jam, like Jam. That's an OG to me, like that's not what I do, like.
Right.
So Roy, nah, man, I ain't know Funk was going, which I believe, if you know Funk, ain't nothing scheduled. So
right,
he goes in this mode. End of the night, he comes to me, asks me, "Am I interested in playing?" And I'm nervous after what I just seen, but I know I don't do, I don't, and I enjoy myself, but I don't enjoy.
Indulge that.
Well, I can't do that. So I told him, yeah. And this is the kicker. My first practice ever with Proper Utensils. So I pull up. I hear somebody on the drums. I don't know who it is, but once I get closer to the studio, I instantly say, man, that's Sugarfoot's on the drum. Now I'm nervous. Like now I'm like, man, he really setting me up, right? So I can get in there. You know us, I get in there, I'm blue, I'm going there. When I open up the door, my intuition, it was right. He
Oh, just so from outside, you
from
just
outside,
you can tell.
I studied this, man. Sugarfoot, and that's what I heard. And nobody else played like that in these days. You know what I'm saying? It was Sugar. I knew it. So I go through the door. He said, "Man, where you been? I've been waiting on you." So I give him this. Like, me? Like I'm nervous. Like the last time I really literally sat there and talked to him was the day at Panorama Room, long time ago. Like, but I did my thing and found my way to come up through the thing. But I never, Chuck ain't really played with nobody.
Right.
So, and man, that was any day I can say I was nervous. I was already nervous because I had to deal with funk. That was my other than studio. Like, but I knew what to expect, but I wasn't expecting Sugarfoots to be at my first practice and then say, "Man, I was waiting on you." And so I looked at funk.
That's like going to the gym to play basketball, and Michael Jordan is right there.
Yeah, Michael Jordan sitting there shooting around saying, "Nah, I'm waiting on you, Blue. Where you was at, man?" I'm like, "Oh, you." And then that day, and Funk was like, "Thought it was gonna be a game in a whole nother league now, son." And I was like, "Yeah, I see, man." I was like, "Dog, like you set me up." He was like, "Man, go on outside and take you a couple of breaths, man." So I literally had to go back outside and get myself together, like, cause dog, I was here, like butterflies, everything. I was like, Sugarfoot's on the drum. Like, I'm not trying to play. I'm not even in my head. I'm not even good enough for him to hear me yet, dog. That's what I'm thinking.
Right.
He handed me the sticks. I sit down. And he just sitting there looking at me the whole night that I'm practicing. That was one of the most nerve-wracking nights of my life, dog. That was like to get that off the break first practice. And he told me, like, "Man, I did that to let you know, to put you on point." And they just taught me like he was teaching me like that. I used to make all this noise with the offhand on it. But it was, if you're a drummer and a musician, we do that that's our count. But it's a way to do it. It's a way to do it. Some people do it, and you can like, dog, you gotta quiet that down. That's the first thing Funk said. Look, you gotta find something to do with that. And I'm like, what you want me to do with it? Like, it helps me with the count. Rick coming to me, "I got you. Don't even worry about it." That was good. I mean, everything went. Once he said that, I mean, all the nervousness, everything went away. And he just told me a way. He said, "You can do it," because I was just the way you was holding the stick. That's all. Something simple. And now it's to perfection. Everybody asks me, "Man, how you get to be so quiet?" I can't explain it to you. And all Rick said is hold the stick this way. And that's what I do. And now here we are. But yeah, that was one of the prop utensils. Then Darnell came. Then I went to Rare Asses after that though. So Darnell was before.
What was the Darnell project? This was like Darnell solo stuff, or what was it?
Well, it was funny. It was funny. 911 was never supposed to be a band.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. For some reason, I didn't play with Essence before 911. But
I went to 911 first because I went to prop after that because I went to Essence while I was playing with prop because I didn't want to go. I only went there because of Funk.
Gotcha.
He wanted me to go, but Darnell, that we did that. His son was going to college, and he wanted to make some money to send his son to college. So he was hot then. He had, he just left Rare. He was the shit.
Yep.
So he was like, make a record. And good old 32 talked him into making a band, and we literally made history, dog. That's something.
That was
history, right? It would never be. The stuff Stomp doing is almost 911-ish.
Like the all-star band, yep.
Yeah, because we had some top fives in every category in that band. Bula.
Jesus Christ.
Man.
Yeah.
There was some events right there. Then after that, it's funny. Prop Utensils was at Triples one night. And I was already filling in for Rare Asses. Funk was booked the show so I could leave and go, sit in. So this one night, I look up. I was always, Mickey will always come. X will always come. Darryl there now and then. This night, I look up the whole Rare Asses band back there. The whole band. I found out later the argument was Darryl didn't want me to play because he thought I played too slow. But he didn't know he had to see Funk telling me this every time, giving me to slow it down. I'm like, dog, if I go any slower, I'm going to be crawling. But that's how he played. So Darryl thought I couldn't play fast. So this so happened when he walked in, it was Benny's part of the show. And, Benny, open up the gate. Let's go.
Helicopter. Yeah.
Helicopter. Let's go. And he said, Charlie, give me that roll. That's all he wanted. And open up the hi-hat. And he did the rest. That's all he wanted. Yeah. So I see them back there. Everything goes on. End of the night, they standing back there. Funk said, I need to holler at you. Now, I'm already getting this feel. He was like, man, I need you to go over there. And my family, he said, proper utensils is good, but Rare Asses is home to me. This Funk talking to me. I'm telling him, man, I'm good. I don't want to go over there. I'm good. Like, he like, nah, Dirty. Like, everybody, that's how Funk talk to him. Nah, Dirty. They need your help. And I want you to go over there. And I'm looking at him like, Funk, I don't want to go over there. Like, I'll help him all day, but I'm good.
Why didn't you want to go over there?
I was good with prop. I was having a ball. We was having a ball, dog. Like, it was no reason. Like, I didn't know nothing about Rare Asses, like what they, you know what I'm saying? I knew they was big, and I knew when I went and played one time, when I went in rhythms, I instantly knew I was in a whole nother, like, I had never seen a go-go that packed. Like, I knew I was with some dogs, right? So I knew that, but we played every week, 2-3 times every week. I ain't had no reason, but he insists. He was like, Dirty, I need you to go over there and help them. They need your help. And I'm looking at him, and I was like, man, all right. And I just, had a meeting with Dre. The rest is history. Filled out that application in front of Black Hole one night. Brady pulled the joint out the trunk. Said, you got to sign this, Cap. And I was like, I said, this is an application, Brady. And he's like, yeah, man, this a job.
Yeah.
And from that day on, Malachi, 1995, one of them months, I took Gogo as a job. Never took it as a job no other time. But when I did that application, I'm filling out W-2, I'm getting tax returns. I ain't never got all this with no Gogo band.
So wait a minute. You started playing with them in 95. That couldn't have been after 911 because 911 wasn't until like 2000.
Oh, that I mean the first time. Matter of fact, I'm sorry. That was the first run with Rare Asses.
Oh, okay. 95. So that's why I was confused because I was like, I could before that. So go back to the first time with the application in front of the Black Hole.
Yeah, I've played from 95 to 98, and then I left.
Gotcha.
And that's when all the other stuff went on with them. Who did I go to when I left there? 98. Yeah, I went back to good old faithful Doc and them. Doc was still having the shows. I wasn't really playing with nobody major. And then I probably ended up with Junk again.
That's what I was gonna say. I thought JY was back again, like in a 90s.
Yeah, I ended up with Junk again, and we fell off again. And that's matter of fact, I was with Junkyard when I went to 911 because we was recording the record, and somehow it got out that we was gonna be a band, but I didn't know that. Like, I wasn't part of the conversation. That was something 32 when Darryl was talking, but Darryl was saying no the whole time. But well,
that's good to know. That's good to know because I would tell you that was, if you remember, like that was when Rapper quit Northeast, and he was in the and he basically told us, he was like, man, I'm not making enough money doing this. I need to. I remember him saying, he's like, I think I need to put the khakis on. Like, I need to get a job, right? And that's what he said. And so we were like, okay. And then that's when I brought my man. Matter of fact, General Lee, the dude that took rapper for a little bit, that he was from that same band in Indianapolis that me and my dog played for, and Keyboard Chris.
You know what's funny about that, Malachi?
What's that?
I didn't even know rapper was coming to the band.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because I don't even remember what happened, but we sort of knew that it was gonna, we knew that night that he was gonna go with y'all for some reason, but he was saying he wasn't going to. So I feel like he didn't know, and so now it's coming a little.
They were lying, Malachi. Them punks knew. Because when we played that very first show, he played that outside show. B-Man is my homie, right? And we were together. He told me at the light of with the Iverson Mall, we was just talking. He was like, "Man, yeah, rapper up here." And at this time, he was just wasn't home. He was. I don't want to tell his business. He was in college, as I call it. Yeah. He had just came home from college. So, and I was like, what he up here for? Like, he was like, he supposed to be playing for the band. And I'm like, what band? And B-Man was like 911. And dog, when I tell you,
what band, not to be confused with the actual what band, which was
it was. I had said what I said what band. I'm like, what band is he playing for? And B-Man was like 911. And I didn't even park where the band was supposed to park at, Malachi. I parked on what's that, 5? With Iverson, all that, I double parked out there because I went to Darryl and was like, "What's going on?" And he was like, "What you mean, Blue?" And I said, "B-Man told me in the car that Chris is supposed to be about to play." And Darryl just gave me a look. And he was like, "Man, can we just do the show?" And I talked to you out there, because if he'd have told me right then and there, he knew, because he seen my car on the main road with the lights on, because I was gonna get back in the car and leave. You ain't gonna carry my man like that. Talk to me, We hot-headed back then. We wilding. So, but B-Man was so calm.
Ryan there, was B-Man there first? I don't remember.
Yeah, he was our original lead rapper.
I didn't remember that.
It was him. It was B-Man, 32, Darnell, Tony Shop, and Dirk.
Yeah,
that was the front line.
That's so crazy, because then we did solo, and it was we did solo and Northeast Groovers, and it was supposed to be the same band, but we would just play on the Grown and Sexy side this night as solo. Still as Northeast. They made me fire Lee because they didn't like the way that he sounded with solo. But they still wanted to
play with Northeast.
Everybody was talking up so much good stuff about the Grown and Sexy side, because that's when it was just coming around. That he was like, well, fuck y'all, not gonna keep me for the dirty ass clubs and leave me out of the fancy shit. So he just stopped showing up for Northeast. And then and then we got Chia Lee after that, because Chia Lee had also tried out for Northeast, but they like Lee better for Northeast, but they like Chia Lee better for solo.
Way two different bands. And Chia Lee has a way two different type of bands. Because Chia Lee has a Grown and Sexy, to me. Yep. His voice will fit a Grown and Sexy crank way better, because he can be him. He can be him. 100%.
But then later on, when we got, I don't remember what happened with Chia Lee, but then B-Man came.
I used to bring the B-Man to half of y'all shows.
Yeah.
I used to bring him to half of y'all shows. Oh, yeah. That's when it was fun, man. That's when you can, you wasn't no problem. You just go see this band, go see that band. Yeah. Now you go see a band, they want to know, what they in here for? They trying to see what we playing. Like, come on, man. Really?
Right.
Really? Like, come on, man.
I remember, that was fun. The club, I remember we started the Magic Q, and then we started doing the Club U and all that shit. And Day, Sweaty, my man, on here, backyard. What's up? Yep. Oh yeah, Bella, my baby, from our Heart and Soul Cafe. I forgot all about the Heart and Soul Cafe. Yep, I forgot all about that joint.
Yeah, what's up?
With Benny, I remember Benny being there. Something. Benny played with us one time at the Heart and Soul Cafe, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I know Benny. Yeah, Lil Benny. I feel like I know at Club U it was always like Funk and Benny would get up with us separately. You know what I'm saying, at different times. But I feel like
Benny
Benny
ain't care who you was, man. Like Funk made Benny would get on stage with, and he didn't care, dog. Benny loved this shit, man. He would get on stage. He didn't care what band you was, dog.
Yeah.
You will definitely get, if Benny came through that jump, who might I got? He was getting on stage, dog, and that's why it was something special with him, dog.
I remember he got mad at us one night at Club U because it was me. I think it was me, Kyrie, and Keyboard Chris. And we're younger. Like Chris is younger than Chris is like 5 years younger than me, and I'm way younger too. And then Kyrie is from Northeast. He plays Northeast shit. You know what I'm saying? Betty was like, like, we don't know that. You know what I'm saying?
And I tell you, man, with them old heads like that, they expect you to know that. So all you musicians that listen, and you get on stage with the living legends now, Sugar Bear, Tony, White Boy, they're gonna expect for you to know that shit. Or just don't even get up there and embarrass yourself. You think you cranking?
Yeah. But we felt like on one hand we were like, "They'll get you all respect," but like, this is our show. You just got up here. We don't, like, how you just expect us to know? Like, we don't, you know what I'm saying? But you're right. And we were young. We didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember that day like it was yesterday. He was mad as shit.
They expect you to know that, dog. They expect you to know it. Trust me.
So what happened?
Huh?
Oh my God. Go ahead.
I said I played with my first shows with Rare Essence. I just played. I ain't practiced.
You ain't know the songs enough. Oh, you just knew
I knew him. Because when I go out, for me, my recorder's always on. No matter if I'm there to party, I'm listening, because back in them days, you never knew when one of them bands was gonna say, "Dog, can you sit down with me for a minute?" So I always was listening, and that's the first thing Dre said to me. He said, "Well, I see you ain't just coming out for fun." I said, "Nah, Dre, I'm always listening." I said, "No matter what, I'm listening." So I played a couple. It was easy, like it was a transition. Plus, when you love this, man, it ain't hard, man. It ain't hard.
Right. I always had a different. I was trying to do with solo what I ended up doing with Mambo Sauce, because and that's the reason why I left solo, because it was like they were telling me, "Oh, well, we're gonna just do cover songs." And I remember me, Dig Dug is one of my closest friends still to this day. We used to argue because him and Red Door Mo, Ronald Moten were band. We used to practice in Mo's basement, and they would be like, "Well, you got to play these cover songs, because this is Go-Go," and I would just be like, "You're Dig Dug. Go-Go is whatever the fuck you say it is. Like, what do you mean? Like, you can't tell me that this got to do it this way and there's no other way."
He cut from another cloth. You can tell him that he may know that, but that's not how he rolled. Like you would never hear him say, "I'm Dig Dug." You know what I'm saying? Like, you would like, man, that's one of the real ones, ladies and gentlemen.
100%. What's still 100%. one of my closest friends to this day. Yep.
That's my dog.
Yeah.
Well, all y'all, the whole and all that, all y'all already know what it is with me.
Likewise, man. The feeling is mutual, man. You always been a real one, no matter what. I appreciate it's certain people that act different in different situations, and you have never been one of those, and I appreciate that shit forever.
What you getting out of that? You ain't getting nothing out of that.
Right. Exactly. So, all right. So starting from 911. What happened with 911? I'm interested in this because I think I remember some of the story, like is basically what one of the biggest problems in Go-Go is, if I remember the story correctly. But what happened with 911?
Well, actually, with them, the flames got lower. People started leaving. First rapper. Well, he was like the only one that left. But it was a big when he left, it was a big void. And we literally, like, the band had already, the steam was already going down.
Thanks, Sweaty.
And at that time,
Thanks, Darryl.
my pops Juju was giving me shows with EU.
Okay.
So while I was playing with 911, it just seemed so funny. EU and 911 seemed to play together every week.
Right.
And then I would play, then it would got to the point where EU would have more shows than 911. So once I played that 911 show, all the shows that Juju would play at the Legends, but he wouldn't play no more of the other shows.
Gotcha.
So son, go play the shows. No problem. Then Sugar Bear, that's another OG. Can't tell like when a Sugar Bear. Then he got respect for what you doing. If he asking you to play, then evidently you can do the job. So
right.
Darryl came to me one day again, like funk, and he just told me straight up. He said, I know you love to do this. This is how you make your money. I'm thinking about changing the band name and moving to the grown section. That was his idea.
Right.
I didn't want to leave, but he was like, Blue, I don't know how this is going to go. Like, I don't want you to say, because EU was playing like crazy, man. I was everywhere with. I was made me think I played with him. I did, but Juju would play on Fridays. I just wouldn't play on Fridays. So
right,
he talked me into doing it, and Sugar Bear agreed. And then he said he already told me gonna keep you working. So I was like, all right, that's what you want me to do, Darryl. I'll do it. So they went on. And matter of fact, nobody knows. Smoking Joe was the drummer right after me with 911. A lot of people, I don't know if people know that, but yeah.
Oh wow! That because Lyle, the band I was talking about earlier, that was his band.
Yeah. He was a drummer right behind me, and the rest I went to EU, played with EU, and I played with EU for a minute, man. Sugar Bear had me everywhere. And then the 2000s hit. And then I was chilling. I was just chilling. Yeah, I was still playing with EU. The next thing you know, who come calling? Brasses again. And I went on back again.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I did.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. I guess because of the first experience. I was young.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably could have handled it better, but back then, you learn from your mistakes. I wish I could have learned it better, but I think everything happened for a reason. And but it was like the next time I went, I got a lot of things I thought I did. I just was able to. I knew more. I was way more smarter. And then plus I had went back with Junk again. Then Mo was there, and I learned a lot. Like Mo, as far as that business. Mo put me on. He let me know what should be what. Yeah, he let me know what should be what. Even though I wasn't a manager, but as a musician,
right?
He let me know how you at least don't never overpush. Huh?
He said Pooh said he played after you in 911, not Smoking Joe.
No, Pooh came after. Joe ain't played that long.
Oh,
Pooh came. He just don't know it. Pooh got the job because Smoking Joe left. Yeah, Smoking Joe played right after me. And shout out to my brother Pooh. What's up, Pooh? But yeah, he ain't played that long. So then I went back and I spent 10 plus years from 05 to like 15. With Razz, I spent a long time. The end of that was rough. The end of that was rough.
Why? I don't want to get into controversy.
Cool. That ain't controversy to me, fam.
Okay.
It's not controversy to me. It was rough because when you have that love, no matter how mad I was at White Boy, I still didn't want to see him being a laughing stock. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't allowing Darryl and them to laugh at him because I already knew, like, when he got that band, I knew he was coming for us. And then when Mick left and then went to there, I was like, man, like I was supposed, everybody know when Mickey left, I supposed to left too.
Right.
But Mick is his own man. I'm my own man, and they the reason why I'm like I am with the loyalty thing. So
right.
Instantly when they left, I was like, Trey, don't like, I'm like, oh, we gonna kill him. Every time we play with them, we gonna kill him. Like, I don't care who in our band, they ain't us. So I just had that, and then it was rough. Like the only thing that killed me the most was when I show up to a show, and Rashes had some diehard fans, man. And when they asking you why you still here, like, man, I'm glad you still here, but like, come on, bro, I see it. You know, I guess I was weighing it. That was the most biggest thing to deal with. Like, I ain't never experienced nothing like that. But the love, I had my own mission. Like, I'm gonna kill familiar faces every chance we get to play with them. So, like, and I know. But it was all out of love, but I didn't want White Boy to suffer, no matter how mad I was, no matter how much I thought he deserved it or whatever. But
well, why did you feel that way as much as you can speak on it? Because part of the reason I do this show is because I want us to understand that, why we sort of self-sabotage, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm always looking at things in the context of not just go-go, not just DMV music, but in the wider world. You know, that's what I was trying to do with Marvel's also, was create a national art. That's still always been my passion. And I feel like there are certain things that we are really like, I'm not saying that everything is unwarranted, but I feel like we are really sensitive about things that people in other genres may not be as sensitive about. I don't know if that's the case for your thing, but I'm just saying, I just want to know.
Whatever you do. I mean, I tell you. I mean, I think, you know, we had disagreements with financial. I felt like I was owed something because out of everybody, I was the only one there.
Right.
When you called, I was there.
Right.
You know, and I just felt that, but that I still didn't leave. Like, no matter the griff, you know, the beef we had over that, I still stayed. Like, and how, like.
Well, so specifically, so you're saying you felt like because everybody else left and you stayed, that he owed you some, you know, somewhat of gratitude and to like take care of you a little better on the financial side.
Absolutely, especially when people left and then came back. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then left again, and I was still there.
Right.
Going through the struggle, like you can always count on Blue. It was me and him. So like, old Mickey, it was just me and him. Shorty Doug wasn't even there no more. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and then when people came back and left again, it still was me, you, and Shorty was there. It was like, you know, well, it was like, show me. I don't eat caviar, but I would like to be able to buy it if I chose to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That don't mean you got to pay me caviar money, but I'm giving you my all. Like, you called no matter what you needed. If it had something to do with that franchise, I was there. You knew that. You knew you can count on Blue, and you knew I wasn't coming to work bull jive. And once I sat down, you getting all of me. So, you know, I know back then I held that grudge, but I got over it. You know, White Boy is still.
But did y'all ever have a conversation about it? Like, did you ever be like, did you ever go to him and say, hey, you know, I'm the only man left standing, like,
not that type of conversation, though, because it was like we was playing, and then, you know, stuff will happen. You know, once you get a numerous shows, you get a nice check. You don't really worry about it, but when it slowed down, that's when you see it. Like, hold on now, you know, like. But then, you know, now we didn't really have that. You know, I may have mentioned it to a raise at the time, a few, but nothing ever happened. So, you know, I just got to finally ball down. I wish it didn't happen like that, because people was around that ain't had nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Quick was caught in the middle of it. Like, that's my drum brother. So he was caught in the middle of it. He felt like he was in the middle. You know, I had to have a special talk, a certain talk with my brother, let him know you don't have nothing to do with it. That's what Smoke was in the middle of it because I had just got my brother that job.
Yeah.
He was caught. He was like, "Sir, you brought me to the band and left." I said that wasn't the plan. Like my plan was to enjoy you for what I went through to get to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I say that today. If I'd have stayed, man, Smoke might be some trouble out here right now. So,
yeah, buddy.
Yeah. So I just, like I told him, I was like, it just had nothing to do with y'all. It was just that it was this time. It was best that it happened when it happened. Cause now me and Dre we cool. Like, right. 2 days later after we had a meeting and we met and all that, we was cool. It was like, it was no animosity. Like it was this time. I think I needed that break.
For sure.
That's why I agree,
How long was it after you left for Essence that time that you started playing with JY, and how did that come about?
Oh, well, after I left Red Essence, I told y'all, Doc called me because I had went on Facebook and told everybody know I was no longer with Red Essence.
I remember that.
Doc thought I was playing, so he called me and he was like, "Son, you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "No, are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I just broke him down to the story. Doc is my family, so he heard it in me. Like he was like, "Don't worry about it, son. I got you." That Friday, I was at Doc and them show. So I went to Doc and played with them 2.5, 3 years. And then it so happened, Junkyard, it wasn't planned, but the Junkyard thing just came about. I was doing a few shows for Younger. He would call me and be like, "Bro, can you fill in for me?" I mean, I'm a Junkyarder, so yeah, why not? I'm not going to tell Bugs, no. That's another person, I can't tell him.
Right.
So, and it just happened like that. Once I got the 2 days after me and Red Essence went our separate ways, I was on stage with Faces You Know. From that point on, it's like I didn't really take a break. Then from Faces You Know, I went straight to Junkyard.
Let me ask you a question about Junkyard. And I know I realize that people might have a different opinion, but my perception of Junkyard is that like almost every other band that has ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? Every band in the city, like they're up and then they're down and they're up and they're down. And I have a theory sort of unrelated to that where people talk about Trouble Funk and EU and how they're scared to try to do anything outside of the city because when Trouble Funk and EU came back, the city ain't fuck with them anymore. And what's that?
For a minute, it ain't taking long for us because I remember EU's first show back. They came down Church. They was EU, but you could tell they was on the road. They didn't have that. I guess they lost the grimy or the go-go, but it ain't take long because all Juju had to do was 2 weeks later he had the drums behind him and he did something crazy with the man and they was back. It ain't take long.
Right.
So it ain't take long. So.
Well, I also always thought that maybe that it was just possible that every band, regardless of whether they leave or not, has up and down and
that's
up
go-go.
and
That's
down.
go-go.
So
it ain't just the band. That's go-go.
Right. So it could be totally just be a coincidence that they went on tour and then they came back and they had a down period, just like they would have, even if they might not have gone on tour. So to me, I don't feel like that's a good excuse for not trying to do anything bigger. You know what I'm saying? But with Junkyard, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I hope I was piggybacking on what you were saying. What we doing now, like the songs we got waiting because we do got songs, but we don't want to put them out because they hit. We can't go nowhere. The pandemic. So I mean, we had these songs before the pandemic. It just the time and so, but our whole focus now. Plus Mo, if you know Mo Pitcher is way outside the limits. And I ain't gonna say just him. When I left Red Essence, the last album they did, that song was made specifically to get away.
Right.
From here, because it ain't a lot of real, like that's go-go, but it sound a little R&B, rare R&B, but that's the whole focus. But when you do that, they don't be pleased. It's like y'all want us to do this and want us to do that. We make a song. If it ain't got that, wait a minute, or Go smoke. You gotta smoke. Y'all ain't liking it. So I mean, it's
Right.
you know, damn if you do, damn if you don't. But
Well, I got a theory about that, but before I get to that, I want to. So my perception, you can correct me if I'm wrong because you've been around longer than me, but my perception is Junkyard has had up and down times, but I don't. It doesn't seem to me that Junkyard has ever really had up and down times while they were still playing. It seemed like they would be playing and it would be hot, and then they would stop playing, and they would be playing and it would be hot, and then it would stop playing. But every time they play, they come out and bust your fucking ass. So,
yeah,
and maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I just was out of the loop. And I haven't lived, I went to college in Montana for a while. I've been in LA for the past 5 years. I was in LA in the early 2000s in Vegas. So I haven't been there the whole time. So I may be wrong about that. But it seems to me that from a consistency standpoint, Junkyard has always, every time the band comes back, like just destroys shit. And I'm curious if you have any insight into the like what in the mindset of that band makes that happen. Like how is the band so consistent with just like always, like no matter, you know what I'm saying, over the course of 30, 40 years, you still just come out and every time just destroy the whole fucking stage no matter what. I've never seen a Junkyard off night ever.
well, we have him. We do have him, but I appreciate that. But yeah, we have had that time. Like every band has went through. A Junkyard is no different. But to answer your question, it's only one word I can say, bro. Be you. He does it for me. I mean, you know, for me, it ain't no Junkyard if he not up there. No disrespect, right. But
for sure.
He do it for me, and I'm pretty sure it's like he gives you that, it's something, and then it's something about the brotherhood. I don't know, man. It's hard to explain. I guess you gotta be a part of it, but I do know for me, it BU starts it off and ends it. He just gives you that feel. It comes off his body and just hits you. In Junkyard land. I don't know. So, but I do. It's him, and I think this. The more the grooves we have, they more push. Like, seem like when we started, we never come back down. It's like right. Keep on going and keep on going. So I play with no other band like that. I don't know, man, but I do know it's BU, man. I got Bugs. It got to be Bugs. It's him. It's him. And to see him still have that energy and that love. How can you not?
No, he makes me tired. I'm like, damn, I must be like 15 years younger than you. You still make me go to sleep. You got so much energy.
He be having that ending, like you look up and like this. Okay, if he doing all that, how right. can you not right. give it your all? Like, you know. And then I like the brotherness. Like, you know, we really love each other. Like I love. We really hang. You say I can cuss. We really fucks with each other. It ain't fake, you know. But they right. like your real brothers, like they get on your nerves. You want to cuss them, but that fight when it comes to none of that. You can cuss at me and I need you to do this, and you can go to somebody and say you ain't doing this right, and you ain't got to worry about, man, you think you're this, and I'm this person. Even with Buzz, it's like he one of us. He's like, we know he can have the whole spotlight, but he ain't gonna do that. If it ain't, he gonna. I think one dude called us the Wu-Tang Clan to Go-Go. That's what's up. Trying to do a video with him, and he was like, "You can do the video, but you gotta get my boys. Like, you ain't getting no video without me. It ain't no one. We have one light.
Right.
Everybody is under it, bro. There's no separate light, and you can't ask for more when you gotta. We know who he is. When you got a person like that that ain't on the other side of you, that's in the same boat as you, going through the same stuff with you, and then he knows everything when it comes to Junkyard, and that's the beauty of it. Like you can like ask him, and he'll tell you that ain't right. Oh, that's how it's supposed to be. Like all these years, like all these shows, still today, he on it.
That's Stomp with us. He remembers all that shit.
Yeah, man. That's the beauty.
All that shit.
You'll get me with the name. If I hear it, I'll be like, oh, yeah. But you start throwing out them names,
like what? that again? Yeah.
Because he was like, man, you don't know. Like, you trying to tell me what I know. I don't know that. Then he was like, you don't know it? Then he'll play it. They be like, oh yeah, I know that. They're like, that's the name. I can't do the name, dog. Like, but they gotta be him. That's why we are.
Let me ask you this, because you were talking earlier about the songs and about about the fans being disappointed if it's not done in a certain way. And I have a theory, which I think that, I mean, assuming that the goal is to get Go-Go out to the masses, right? Mm-hmm. Assuming that's the goal. If it's not the goal, then it doesn't work. But if that is the goal, we try to recreate the energy that we have on stage in the studio. And it's impossible because the crowd isn't there providing the energy to you to feed off of, right? And it's just a different vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's not, the sound of the room is different. You know, you're playing to a click track. It's just different, right? So my thought is, instead
that ain't what us though. I didn't mean to cut you off, but go ahead. I'll explain that later. What you just said, like trying to get that feel. Like when we at practice, it's like we at a show. I guess it's just us when we get around and we get on our instrument. I leave practice sweating. I'll be like, man, I'm a shirt soaking wet. Like same thing when we go to the studio. If we all hitting at one time, it's just there. Like you feel that it may take 1-2 tracks once you get the juices flowing. Right. But we get that feel because we have this motto. We don't care if it's one person or 2,000 people. You're gonna get the same jump. I know a lot of bands don't go by that, but Junkyard is a band that you're gonna get Junkyard no matter how many people in the show.
Yeah, and that's what speaks to the earlier question about how
we hangs our hat on that. Like we don't care who in it or when we gotta play first, second, third. None of that matters. What matters is you pay to see Junkyard, and we're gonna give you that. Period.
Right. Well, my philosophy, not necessarily just for Junkyard, but for all the bands. Well, I shouldn't say my philosophy. I would say my theory, which is certainly up for debate, is instead of trying to go in the studio and do what you do on stage, go in the studio and look at it as a totally separate thing, which is what every other genre.
That bag different. You're supposed to. That's a different bag. Yeah. Supposed to.
Yeah, and create something in the studio that can stand as a song, as a record, as which every single hit record that has been made in go-go was done that way. You know what I'm saying? And you go to a real studio with a real engineer, with a real producer, and you create a song. And then when you get on stage, you do the same thing to that song that you do to the cover songs that you play. And so then that way you're getting the best of both worlds. But I feel like people are trying to recreate what they do on stage in the studio, and it doesn't translate. And then that's why people say, well, why you ain't do it this way? Why you ain't do it that way? Instead of just not even trying to do it that way in the first place. That's just my theory. It could be wrong, but that's what I did with Mama.
Right. You're right. Yeah, because like you said, it's hard to get what you do on stage. So, because first of all, that vibration of the system you're not getting when you're in the studio. So I guess it's all on you to try to get it. Like I say with Junk, it's like when we together, it's on. We don't at practice, live, like it's on. So the feeling is really not. It's just there. I don't know. I can't explain it. I never felt like that with no other band. It's just something about Junkyard. Once you hit, it don't matter what you doing, you be Junkyard.
Yep.
Like the songs I was telling you about, they Junkyard, but you can hear the other part of what we trying to do. So if you one of the ones like this, man, it sound all right, but it could have been whatever, then you just a straight up go-go fan. You ain't looking at the other side of what we're trying to do. So we waiting on.
I posted the other day on, I don't really get on Facebook much more, but I think I posted it from Instagram or something. It's like, there's like 8 billion people in the world. There's like 7 million people in the DMV, but we're concerned about the 50 people that are saying, well, why you ain't got the crank part? Well, why you ain't got the this part? There's so much more to the world and people that can appreciate this. And I don't know if you're familiar with this app Clubhouse, but it's a new app that I've been getting on. And I've been doing, I've been doing some rooms. And I mean, we were doing a room the other day with Tony T from TCB Rare Essence, and Questlove was in that joint. Sean, who's the manager of the Roots and also the head of Live Nation Urban. I did another one a week and a half ago. Cortez Bryant, who's the manager for Lil Wayne and T.I. was in that joint. Tuma Baka, who used to work at BET and MTV and then Spotify, and now he's the head of Black Music at YouTube. Like there's people from DC are at the highest levels of the music industry. Not all of those people I just said are from DC, but even the ones that are not, like they still obviously Questlove and Sean G are from Philly, but they love go-go. You know what I'm saying? Questlove loves Rare Essence. You know what I'm saying? Pharrell loves
Junkyard too. Because we just did a show with them at the Fillmore. And I went to look, and he was live right on stage, and he was getting his volume. But I do know, like, because Rare Essence had played with the Roots for so many times, like every time they would come, they would ask for us to come play, and we would go open up, and then go to our show. We'd go open up at the 930 Club for them and roll out.
Yeah.
And they just do that almost twice, 3 times a year. And like, right, come on, we about to go up 930 Club real quick. I'm like, Trey, we about to play right here. Like, no, we all right, we're going to go up here real quick. And then leave, like, no problem. Like, okay, buddy, you the boss. So, like, on that tip, like when everybody had something to say about CeeLo, that was
love. That was love.
Not to some people. That was more.
I don't understand that mentality. It makes zero sense to me. When somebody is short, like there's a. I posted it on. I got Gogotalx. I posted it on there. An interview with Questlove interviewing Rick Rubin, talking about producing Sardines and the Word. Now, granted, part of it was somewhat negative because they were like, there really aren't that many go-go records that they liked, but I can't necessarily disagree with them. Just because we crank 3-4 times a week, and that does not mean we know how to make records. We're in the party business, not the record business. And that's okay. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. If that's what people want to do, that's cool. But you can't do that, stand on that, and then complain that the rest of the world isn't coming to us, because we got to do our part too.
You got to make something they want to listen to. You got to make something they want to listen to. That's a point blank. That's it. You got to make something that's going to stick in their mind, or something that they're going to like, they don't want to hear this. But if you don't do that, then we're going to be where we at now. Like I had like far as that CeeLo Graham, like where was all this trash, all this talk when his first go-go record with him and Timberland? Like, we know what was all this? Like, come on, man, this man loves like Rare Essence. Again, I have played with so many artists messing with that band. That man was, man, they was partying at the RFK when we was on stage, when we played with them, man. It was like, was no beef. They didn't even want to play after us. They was like, how we gonna come on after that? Like,
right.
So I ain't got no problem. Like that was, if he sung Sardines, Pork and Beans, Chuck Brown, EU, that's go-go. So I'm part of that. So I'm happy.
Right.
I'm happy. Exactly. We sing their songs like ain't nobody say nothing when Vibe Band and them and Let It Flow and all them was singing, I'm a fool, KC2, Junkyard, all. Ain't nobody, why y'all ain't say nothing then?
Yeah.
We can play that music like there ain't nothing, but one of them sing our song is a problem. Cut it out.
But I think, and I don't know 100%, but I feel like this is more fans that are complaining versus the musicians. Like the musicians, like
they don't even come to the go-go, Malachi. All them people that got all that stuff to say. It's just they got a platform to express themselves. We ain't had this, back in when you was you had something to say, you had to say it to that person, or watch how you said it to get back to that person. Now everybody internet bullies, and they ain't coming out anyway. So it'd be 9 times out of 10 you ain't gonna see that person.
Right.
So it's like,
so fuck them. That's what I say. Who cares? I don't give a shit. Yeah. Complain all you want. Stay where you are.
Oh, y'all want to keep singing our music?
Do something bigger.
To all them artists, y'all want to sing our music? We appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I can't speak, but I know most of the people didn't care, especially the bands. The songs he was singing, I didn't care. I would hear Sardines part. Yeah, I want to hear it.
Yeah. I posted it on my Facebook, and Sugar Bear commented, "I love it." So if Sugar Bear loves it, what the fuck are
What's
you?
The problem? What's the problem? It shouldn't be a problem.
Exactly. So, but anyway, man, listen, we could talk about this all night. I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you, man. So much love for you, man, and thank you for always being a consistently positive person and remaining, having the same energy every single time we encounter each other. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, bro. You already know.
You got, that if there's anything I can do to help at any time, just let me know. And
we'll do that. Same here, bro. Same here. You need me, call me up. That's what I told you. Lock me in. I'm here for you, bro.
Yeah. Now I don't know how I didn't have your number, but X worked it out, and I locked you in. You locked in now, so lock me in, and anything you need, man.
Same here, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me, man. Happy holidays to you, man. Be safe.
You too. Thanks so much for coming on, man. I appreciate you.
Okay, fine.
Right. Thanks, Blue. All right. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. That was great. Legend in the game, and one of the most consistently, positive and just awesome people in go-go. Thank you, everybody, for all the compliments. I really appreciate it. So go to gogotalx.co to see. Well, there's not. Well, no, there is a new show up. There's New Year's Eve in Atlanta with the A-Team and basically all the Go-Go All-Stars. You can get online tickets there, and there's the information to call for VIP and tables. So if you want to go down to Atlanta, or if you're in Atlanta for New Year's Eve, it's the A-Team, it's Big G, Wincy, Rapper Dude, Sweet Thing, Steve Roy, and I'm leaving a bunch of people out I can't remember, but just go to gogotalx.co and you can just buy your tickets online right there, or there's the phone number to call Will with Flat Out Entertainment to get a VIP or the table. So make sure you do that. Also, I appreciate any I'm really not like with the whole Cash App thing, but this does cost me money to do this, and I'm not making any money off of it. So if you do feel so inclined to just at least help me pay for this service that I use, I would appreciate it. If not, no big deal, no worries. What else is coming up? Next week I got Stomp Dog, so I can make fun of him for 2 hours. That will be very exciting. So make sure you join in for that. Oh no. I'm sorry. That's not next week. Next week I'm taking off because I need a break. I've been doing, this is like almost the 70th one I've done. I've been doing them since April, and I think I only had one week off. But please subscribe to the YouTube channel. That helps me out. And that way it'll let you know like when a new one is coming up. So next week I'm off. No interview next week. The week after, the 30th, day before New Year's Eve, that's Stomp Dog. So make sure you tune into that. That'll be a good time to remind you to get your tickets for Atlanta. And let's see. What's Clubhouse? Sweaty, I'll hit you offline with that. I'll let you know. But thank you. Like, this was great. Like, I'm sorry if I didn't get to everybody's questions. It's just kind of hard to keep it all together all at one time while I'm trying to review and keep track of everything. But thank you guys for chiming in. This was a major history lesson. I learned some things that I didn't know, as I usually do. And thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. Please subscribe and click the little bell icon down at the bottom. That's the thing that'll alert you when a show is coming up, when a show's coming on. But please subscribe. Yeah, I'm trying to get to, I think I'm at almost 600 subscribers now. I'd like to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. So if y'all could help me out with that, I really appreciate it. So just tell your friends and ask them to subscribe. And again, no show next week, but The following week on the 30th, we'll have Stomp Dog, and then the very next day, he's going to be headed down to Atlanta to do the same thing that they did this past weekend, which is basically like the Go-Go All-Star type of situation, with pretty much anybody in Go-Go, except for Killer Cow, who just texted me. Thank you, sir. Yeah, so you can get your tickets right now at gogotix.co. And yeah, thank you again, everybody, very much. I appreciate it, and we'll see you.